Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bird's Eye View podcast.
Sorry, I have to expect webcam.
What episode is it again? It's 7?
6? Oh,
6.
Yeah,
let me check.
I forgot that anyways.
Let me check. I have 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Yeah, 5 is me and Luke by ourselves, so it's 6.
Okay.
Whoa, I'm missing something.
Why the fuck's up with my webcam? Wait, I think I got it. There we go. No?
Good? Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, we good? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bird's Eye View podcast, episode 6 of season 2. I'm back. I'm happy to be back. I kind of hung these guys out to dry last week, but they did a fantastic job nonetheless. Speaking of, we got Luke King Buck Sovereign on, I don't know, on my top left. I forget how the overlay works.
Top right.
No, I'm top. Yeah,
top right. Okay. Yes. Okay. And then on my top left, we have me Ansfo, aka Zach.
Yeah.
How you guys doing today?
Very good. Kind of tired, but I'm here.
Well, that's good. And Luke, we talked like before. You know, you're on quite the sleep schedule right now.
Well, that's an understatement.
Apparently, he hasn't slept since noon yesterday, which is not good.
I'm on my 5th cup of coffee today, so.
Oh man. Well, at least you'll be nice and amped up for this episode of the podcast. Good to be back, starting our shorter episodes the last few weeks. I think it's kind of appealed to everyone more. But again, we still want your feedback. Comment down below. And of course, we have our deal, which we'll talk about at the end of the episode. But first things first, we're going to hop right into Rocket League with Luke. Do you want to break us down the match?
Okay. So, Rocket League had exciting and very, very busy week. So let's start with the regular season.
Oh, of course.
They had 2 regular season games. Both were play versus. One was against New Hampshire University, a 3-0 win. And the other was against University of Waterloo Black, and another 3-0 win. Then, the St. Clair Saints, unfortunately, lost 0-3 against University of Chicago in the UCEA playoffs, 3rd place game. So they came in 4th in UCEA. However, that was not the only playoffs they played in this week. Oh no. They also competed in the play versus playoffs. So they entered these finals as the 3rd seed. Round 1, they went up against Rochester Institute of Technology, which was seed 30. And that game was close. Like, they almost were eliminated right off the bat. They won that game. They won that round 3-2, I believe.
Yep.
Then they versed the 19th seed. And that was Colorado State University. And they ended up finishing 3-1. Then, in the round of 8, where the games went from best of 5 to best of 7, GT Swarm of the Georgia Institute of Technology, seed 22. Like, our team's good. but these guys took them to a whole nother level.
They turned it up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Game 1 was close, but GT won 4-3. But then after that, it's 3-1, 3-0, 3-1, all GT. But the Saints finished tied for 5th in the play versus.
Not bad.
However, it's not all bad news. The St. Clair Saints Rocket League team has earned their ticket to compete in the Collegiate Rocket League wildcard event. And they're the number 1 Canadian Rocket League team.
Wow.
Not bad.
So
So- a lot of stuff coming from good stuff coming from them this season. Yeah. I mean that was the big thing though. Like, cause I was able to catch the Colorado State game, and even a little bit of the Rochester, the RIT match. But the round of 32, like they were pushed to like first round of playoffs. They were pushed to Game 5.
Yeah.
So they had their backs against the wall like right away, and it was only single elimination for play versus. So.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pressure was on. They somehow pulled out a victory, and then I watching the Colorado State game. They lost game 1, but they rallied back and pretty much just controlled everything the rest of the way. But like you said, the big thing was making CRL wildcard, which
That's
a big deal. Of course, it being like the biggest collegiate league period right now. To get in there is super huge for the Saints boys. They did such a good job throughout the year. Unfortunate ending to their play versus in UCA playoffs, but they look so good, and I think they'll do well in a CRL wildcard.
well. Just keep in mind, like they came in 5th out of 32 teams.
Yep.
And I don't know how many teams was in UCEA, but they came in 4th.
Yeah.
So
They're a good team. Like
they're really
we
good
know
team.
that they did really good regular season, as Zarin said.
Regular season, they were one of our top performing teams.
Yeah, like top 4 in one league and top 8 in the other is like insanely impressive in itself. And we're starting to see. I know one player on the Saints gaming team joined Team Villainous, which is like a fairly big org. Joined their Rocket League team. I'll get his name in a second, but starting to see the pipeline, college to the amateur or top tier amateur, possibly pro level, which is always nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big deal for them. Let me see if I can find his name here.
Who are you trying to find again?
I think it was Fusion. Fusion
Yep,
joined
that makes
Team
sense.
Villainous, yeah.
Oh, you joined an amateur team?
Yeah. Who's actually like run by one of the esports students. So that's kind of cool connection. But he's on that team. That team is actually really good, so I hear. So
congratulations to him.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. But making CRL wildcard is huge for this Rocket League team, and really nice to see. So big congrats to them. Congrats to Fusion. And well, with that, we can move on to League of Legends. Zach, you can kind of explain what happened there.
The League of Legends team, we got O2'd by University of Ottawa in the OPSE League. Game 1 was actually pretty close. We tried a new strat out. Instead of having a traditional AD carry in the bot lane, we thought we'd play a mage. Actually went pretty decent. We just got outscaled in some other lanes as well as the bot lane, so kind of just ran over in a way. And then game 2, it was a lot worse than game 1, and we were just dying everywhere. We had like a bunch of deaths early, and we can't really come back from that. But we'll be sure to bounce back for this week. We had some realizations and then we're gonna definitely show you how much improved we are from this past week in our match coming up this week.
That's good. Where is Ottawa ranked like among the OPSC teams right now?
So I think we're like 5th. I think they're either right above us or right below us. I think they're.
Okay.
Oh, they might be tied with us now, actually.
So it was a pretty even playing field.
Yeah.
Going into it.
It was gonna be close. Their roster and their ranks were a bit higher than us. Like they had a couple masters. They had 3 masters or 4 masters. All of our team's diamonds. So like they did have an outrank us quite a bit, but it was still pretty close. Oh, see, no, they're tied for 2nd, and then we're 5th. They're 5-1. We're 3-3.
So they're just a bit better, and
Yeah.
of course that win pushed them up a little bit higher too.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but how many matches do you guys have next week?
We just have one coming up on Thursday, I believe, against Queen's University.
Okay.
And then they're below us in the standings.
All right. Well, League of Legends falling, unfortunately. Do you want to take us through Hearthstone a little bit before we move on?
It's not really much to say for Stone. So Saints had a 3-0 loss against Ryerson for OPSC. They only played one game. I still think that they're trying to get a handle on the new cards, but we can touch on that a little bit later.
Right. It seems like it seems like they're kind of struggling to adapt with the new cards being introduced. Was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Last week.
Last week, I believe.
Last week was a lot of changes for a lot of games.
I see. Okay. Well, yeah. So Hearthstone continues to struggle, unfortunately. Hopefully they'll bounce back. I believe they play on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. So they'll look to end their little bit of a losing streak.
They won last week, but they did play 4 matches last week, but only won 1.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that loss was at the start of the week or near the end of the week, so they could be.
Right. So just a rough patch, really.
Yeah.
For the Hearthstone team, yeah. So moving on to Fortnite, another rough week. Well, not another rough week, but a rough week for the Fortnite team. I think this is one of the worst weeks that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
They got 96 points, which is not a lot compared to what we saw in the past with their 150 and 180 points at some points. So not their best week. They were 48th out of 113 teams.
That's also one of the lowest amount of teams that played, I believe, also.
Okay.
I think. I want to say that is. Because that's 113. Last week was 131. One before that was 125. So it's one of the lower amount of teams also.
Okay. So basically right in the middle of the pack for the Fortnite team throughout the week, which unfortunate, but we've seen how good they've been in the past, and I'm sure they'll be able to bounce back moving forward. So lastly, before we kind of move along, we have the Call of Duty team back in action. TESPA also starting up again just 1 week after the release of Cold War. We'll touch on that in just a little bit, but opening weekend for Cold War. The Saints Gaming took on Bethany College, their gold team. I believe it was a mix of players from their one team that they had in Modern Warfare, but nonetheless, it was a 3-0 win, quite convincing win for that matter. I believe Dawson, the captain coach, told me that this wasn't the team that they played in TESPA playoffs, but they did have 1 or 2 players, I believe, from that team. But nonetheless, 3-0 win. And finally, on Sunday night, they took on Stevens Institute of Technology, and that was one of the more convincing wins I've seen throughout the past year even. Just looked really good. Stevens Institute has a little bit of a ways to go to catch up and be able to compete against really good teams, but good start for the COD boys. 6-0 total on the weekend, which is nice to see. Don't get that very often. It's always a nail biter, but good week for them. And we're just going to kind of segue right into our MVP sections of the week, and we'll start with Zach with your MVP.
This is a rough week for MVPs wise for myself. Not tough or rough, but tough to decide. Really, the only teams that were going crazy would probably be the Call of Duty teams. So I think I'd have to give it to Dawson. Again, new game for them, so there probably is a lot of adapting to do. I think he probably led the charge. I couldn't really talk to him about how each affected the changes or what they went about the changes, but he probably helped them out a lot. He is the coach and the leader, so I feel like I'd give it to him.
Fair enough, Luke.
For me, I have to give it to Kamal from the Rocket League team. I don't exactly remember if it was the Colorado State game or the Rochester Institute of Technology game, but in one of those games, he scored a hat trick, which was the only goal scorer for his team. So that's the main reason why I'll give him MVP for me this week.
Yeah, nice performance from him. Pretty much all of Saturday, from what I saw. And of course, you mentioned the hat trick as well. But
Yeah.
you know me, got to stick with the COD boys. I'm gonna go with my boy Sauce, MVP of the week, making his PC debut on Call of Duty, and he looked really good. Had a rough end to the Modern Warfare season, but kind of a mainstay on this COD team. Found his way again, so that was definitely nice to see. So Sauce is my MVP for the weekend.
Is PC debut still using a controller though, or is he mice and keyboard? Okay.
Yeah, no, it has to be controller for Desperate Rules. I'm sure they'd
really?
switch. Heartbeat. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
So yeah, good stuff from him and the COD guys. And now we talked about Hearthstone a little bit and the cards that got introduced last week. Luke, do you want to kind of take us through like what happened in that situation, and we'll kind of get into our topic from that.
So, first of all, I should say I don't play Hearthstone at all. But from my understanding, what happened was the day that last week, the day that Hearthstone competed, was the same day that Blizzard decided to release a new pack of cards. And from my understanding of the events that transpired, St. Clair played it safe, only swapping a few cards here and there that were direct upgrades, still playing roughly the same deck, while their opponents went a little bit crazy with the cards and took
the whole new set
St. Clair by surprise.
Yeah, it's genius. It's such a huge risk, but if it pays off, you look amazing. But if you suck, then you look terrible. But obviously paid off for Ryerson, with the 3-0 win. But so really the question that we want to get into is, should TOs enforce in-game changes for upcoming tournaments or events? Whether it's a week away or a month away or whatever. Zach, what are your thoughts on that question and why?
What was the question? Like TOs should keep
should they enforce the new rules or in-game patches or adjustments made by the game developers, say 3 days before an event, similar to what happened with Hearthstone? Like, should you be allowed to use those cards? Or League of Legends a few weeks back, should you be able to use that new champion, whatever it is? So what do you kind of think?
I guess same thing happened for us. Like the League of Legends changed last week as well, right before our match. See, sort of Hearthstone, I guess. And there's a lot of new stuff to learn, but I feel like we know those patches are coming. Like I feel like Hearthstone, you knew that set was coming. At League, we knew those items and that new patch was coming that day before our match. We should prepare for it. Like we have access to the PvE, which allows us to see the patch coming up before it even comes out to the main servers. So I feel like as a coach, the coaches should be like, hey, this is what's happening, this is changing. The players should be testing it out, learning it, studying it, figuring it out before the match even happens, because you guys should be good enough to be prepared for a match. You're supposed to prepare for a match for sure. And if you know that this patch is this match, you should be prepared for it, know what's going on, know the items and how to play the game still at a high level without going and guessing. Because that's if you're going and guessing into the game, then why you on that team or why you playing in that league if you're not ready for that? That's just how I feel. I feel like you should be ready for the game ahead. If you're not ready for the game ahead, you shouldn't blame the game or the tournament organizer. You should blame yourselves.
Interesting take. Luke, do you have anything to say about that?
I agree with Zach, but for very different reasons. I'm coming from this from the more business side. As a developer, I want TOs to enforce the new additions. Say if it's League, I want them to play the new champion. If it's Hearthstone, I want them to use the new cards. If it's, for your case, Zarin, Call of Duty, I want them to play the new game to get more eyes on the product. Purely from a marketing standpoint, I think it's a really good thing that TOs should be allowing new changes to go through.
Or wait, go back to your first point. Are you saying that you want the game designers, the game developers to enforce they play on the new patch, or the tournament organizers?
I'm saying as a game
So like the
developer,
developers want the leagues to make them play
I
that game.
want the leagues
Okay.
to enforce the new stuff.
Okay. I didn't fully understand. I just want to make sure what you were saying.
That's understandable.
That makes sense, but like, just to kind of counter that, and I'll get into what I have to say in a minute. But like, if you're a TO and say, okay, I'll give you an example. 5 years ago, way back in 2015, the good old days. Life was a lot simpler then, you know. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I remember the main submachine gun that was used by all the pros and whatever. You know, the Call of Duty championships were like in May or whatever, $1 million, $2 million tournament, and the main submachine gun had 45 bullets in it. And, you know, it was used throughout the whole tournament. Everybody used it, but there was still, you know, 9 or 10 events left in the year. And there was one like 2 weeks after COD Champs, and they reduced the magazine from 45 to 30. And players had, you know, 3 days to adjust to it. And believe me, like, how that game played, how fast it was, 15 bullets made a huge difference. And a lot of people, you know, were complaining, saying, oh, we should play on the old patch for at least this tournament and the next. And so, like, wouldn't it be better to just give players, no matter what game, a chance to practice and scrim with the new champion, new gun, new adjustments in game before like running the tournament?
I feel like that's more where Zach's point takes priority, where the players have the responsibility to
Prepare.
be aware of these changes.
Yeah, be ready for the event. The same as the coaching
Granted,
staff as well.
Yeah, coaching staff, but it's also, I guess, an argument could be made if the developers don't announce the changes beforehand, and if it's just a sudden drop, then I guess an argument could be made. However, if developers do announce what's the changes are coming, then there should be no excuse, and you should definitely be playing on the latest version.
So, like, I don't know. I struggle to kind of comprehend, you know, why things like that would be enforced. Like, for me personally, if I'm a Hearthstone player and, you know, and we're winning in this way, like, you know, using this deck and it's just working for us, like, personally, I would be pissed off if a new deck dropped like the day or two before a match, and, you know, Tespa's like, hey, like you can use these. This is allowed. I would be pissed off personally, because it's gonna throw the whole strategy off. Like, you've been, say, studying your opponent for a whole week, preparing for this match. Why should you be put at a disadvantage now? Especially, let's say Ryerson knew that they were probably going to lose because they're not as good a team. Hypothetically, I don't know if they are or not, but, you know, if they know they're going to lose, and all of a sudden they get blessed this gift of a new deck, and all of a sudden they can completely throw off the game plan and completely change away from their strategies from previous weeks. Like, I just don't think it's fair, especially, I can't even say that, like, especially for the good teams. It sounds bad, but that's how I feel. Like, you know, sometimes there's lopsided matchups, but when certain circumstances hit, the best teams can lose.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair personally, but I understand your guys' points. And the thing with Tespa, I don't mean to ramble on, but like the thing with Tespa and Call of Duty, like Call of Duty has been out a week and a half pretty much today. So it was released last Friday, not this past one, but the last Friday. And on the Saturday, we were told like Tespa's starting up again next Saturday. So this past Saturday, which gave everybody a week to prepare for the matches. And it was really aggravating because not only did we have to adjust to a brand new Call of Duty, but we had to go from 5v5 to 4v4. And that meant we had to repick our teams and have less than 5 days to practice pretty much, because we weren't going to start scrims the day after the game comes out. And anyway, it was a complete mess. But what I'm saying is, like, this first week, it's basically how good you are at Call of Duty at the most basic level, because no team is going to be practiced enough where they can be perfect on certain maps and certain game modes. And no team is going to, like, most teams are really coming in unprepared, even if they practice every single day. So, the club team, for example, that, I lead, we just kind of got smoked because this team that we played, Kennesaw State, they've been playing together for months and months. And even with the Call of Duty Switch, it's all about their raw skill. And we just got outmatched based on that, not even intelligence or strategy or anything like that. It was just basically all gun skill. And I just think, Tespa at least should have waited a month, maybe 2 months for actual competitive rules to come out, which they kind of made up their own, and wait to see how the pro scene is looking, what rules they're enforcing, and kind of go based off that. But they just decided to hop right into it, and it was a friggin' disaster pretty much the first weekend, I think, for a lot of teams.
To bounce back on your point of like when the new stuff drops and stuff for Hearthstone, I'm looking back at it now. Ryerson was actually below our St. Clair team in the standings, and then they still 3-0'd St. Clair. Usually, it's still like they've only played 5 games each, so standings is still a bit closer than usual. But if you're usually above the standings, you should beat people below you. What's crazy, they got 3-0'd by Ryerson, but still, if they knew that patch that set was coming, they should be prepared a bit better. Even if they didn't, I know they might not have planned to play the set or be prepared, like plan to play against it or play with it. They still should be prepared about it.
And furthermore, you gotta keep in mind, yes, like a team that decides to play safe won't be prepared for the new stuff, but you gotta keep in mind, people who decide to play the new stuff won't really know how it works.
But they might have prepared. Ryerson might have spent a lot more time preparing for that new set than St. Clair did. St. Clair could have been
then that's on St. Clair.
Yeah, which is what I'm saying. Is like if you're not preparing for it, you're not going to be ready for it. So you're going to lose. You should, if you want to win, you should prepare.
And as far as Call of Duty goes, it's the new game. And to bring up my old point of, from the business point of view, you want eyes on that product. If you just have, for the next month or so, you have them playing the old one, that's not really good for business.
Yeah.
I don't know. That what Tespa should have done, in my opinion, was host like an inaugural tournament, just a tournament. I mean, the league technically is a tournament, but it's over the course of 4 weeks. I think they should have had one tournament that was a weekend long, introduces everybody into the game, gets Tespa's name out there, gets some colleges out there, and then in a month or two start up the league, because you have interest now. You ran a tournament before, and of course advertise the hell out of you having scholarship money to give away. It would have made more sense if the pro scene hopped right into it, but they didn't. They're waiting till January, February, which is what they did last year, and it seemed to have worked out.
I still feel like there's a lot from the pro scene, there's a lot higher stakes, especially
They're
the one
getting
part
they're
I
getting
do
paid.
I do agree with your point of the 5v5 going down to a 4v4. That is something that's a bit that they should give a bit time to prepare for.
Yeah.
However, in the pro scene, I do understand that it why they're giving the time to prepare, because college level, it's what, a $500 scholarship. In the pro scene, it's potentially millions of dollars.
Hmm.
But that's the thing, though, and I'm gonna even counter that. Like, you're getting paid to do that. You know, it's okay if you hop right into it. You're getting paid that $1 million a year to play this game. You should be able to, you know, hop right in, whatever. I just don't understand at, college right now. I'm sorry, but it's a low level compared
Well,
to compared to the pro scene, anyways. Like, why are we being like punished
I don't
Because
think you're getting
it's
punished. I think it's just
playing against like some top tier amateurs that are in college?
You went crazy. Okay,
So-
I'll go.
okay, you go.
So I don't think they're getting punished. I just think the pro scene's time frame or schedule is different than college. We are done school by April. Like that, we have to fit in 2 seasons in that time, so you have to keep it going. You can't take a 2-month break because you only have 8 months of school. Well, pros have the whole year.
Keep in
Okay.
mind, to your point of you're getting paid to play, so you should be able to play no matter what. It's not that on the players. The org's still paying the millions of dollars. They're going to have to cut a player.
Yeah.
So they need time to actually figure that out. That's
We got
$1
a
million
couple players
decision.
too. What about varsity programs that have to go
It's
from 5 players to 4 all of a sudden? Like,
If
that's
they
a
free up
mil.
scholarship
So
money.
that's the whole $1 million versus $500.
it doesn't matter though. It's we got like we have to uphold this brand and the reputation of the Saints Gaming Varsity. We have to go from
Well,
5 to 4 players too, and
here's-
Testo's got to understand that.
Here's an idea. You could send your weakest member down to your club teams and have them improve and fight for another spot in the main roster.
Well, that's exactly what the situation is right now.
Yeah,
Especially,
which is good for colleges. Creates
it
competition within
is.
their own rosters.
It
But not
is.
every college has a club team.
Create one.
Okay,
That's
this
all
is
I got.
true. But like,
You have one good
you know,
player. Make a team.
true. I mean, it's just like, still, you can't. You still got to make that decision. You still got to cut a player. It doesn't matter if they're because $500 to college students is like a freaking gold mine. So
That is true.
if you're the one that has to get cut from a Call of Duty team, or if CS:GO went to 4v4, like, I can't even imagine the reaction I would have, especially if I was cut from a team just because it went from 5v5 to 4v4 and we were given no time to practice or even try out for this team. And the Saints Gaming Varsity, by the way, everybody listen, PSA. Saints Call of Duty hosting tryouts December 1st to the 3rd, which, by the way, is almost exactly a month after the game is released, giving everyone a grace period to get into the game, play competitively, get used to it. So that's the one good thing that we have done, but at the same time, still got to pick between, numerous players. And instead of picking, 2 or 3 more players for the roster, we can only pick one.
Yeah.
So
we should. Well, you can always move it down to club teams. I think club teams are pretty good for the schools and creates more competition.
I completely agree in that way, but like Luke said, like, not every school has a club or even varsity for that matter. Like,
Yeah.
Club team, you cut someone, whatever, like, who cares? But you gotta actually prep and maintain this identity of a varsity college player, and just that's my thoughts on that. But just really quickly, like, what CS:GO did, especially with their maps, just kind of circling back to in-game adjustments. I remember a few years ago they took Dust 2 out of the map competitive map rotation to revamp it and improve little things and make some changes to it. They took it out of the competitive map pool, fixed it, released it, and pros got to play on it, practice on it for I think a month or two, maybe even a little bit longer before they finally said, okay, it's going back into the rotation. Same thing with Cash this past year and a half. There was that grace period where players and coaches got to get used to the new adjustments and practice on it and either get good at it or say, look, we're going to ban this map every time, whatever. But it was that grace period from when they said, okay, this is what's going to be fixed. We're going to take it out of the rotation, make the adjustments, give it back to you guys, and then let you practice on it before we throw it in. We'll get everyone's thoughts and feedback on it. That's how I think these leagues should be running. I understand you guys' points, but that's just how I feel about it. And I think, most especially collegiate leagues should follow that format.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I feel like you're getting pretty heated. So I feel like we could move on. Let's talk about our own club teams here at St. Clair. We had some of them play out through this week. Luke, you want to talk about one of them?
So our Valorant team's fall season just ended. They finished 3-3, which is actually pretty good. This is the first season that we had a Valorant team. Obviously, the game just came out, but 3-3 for like a brand new team thrown together through club discourse and given the global situation, making it difficult to actually recruit members. Actually pretty impressive.
Yeah. They went this week. They lost 1-3, which means they did have a winning record before this last week. They lost map 1, won map 2 on split, 13-2. It's kind of like, it's a game similar to CSGO for you guys that don't know Valorant. It's CT terrace, counter terrace in a way. But
It's
they're different.
CSGO with powers.
Yeah, with abilities. So there's only 5 maps in the game as well, so it's quite smaller map.
Still quite new.
But they did pretty good.
Their winter season starts on July 9th.
January
9th.
July's far away. That's not winter anymore.
That's the 24 hour. That's the 24 hours plus of being there.
So then the League of Legends team, the club team played. Well, they actually didn't play. They got a forfeit win. They ended up getting a free win, moving them to 2-3. Their fall ends, and then same as Valorant, their winter season starts January 9th as well.
Not July.
Yeah, not July.
Not July. Nice to see the Valorant team. I know those guys have a lot of fun playing, and they're getting pretty good too. So 3-3, impressive. League team had a rough start, but I think they won 2 out of their last 3, if I'm not mistaken there. So nice little run from them to finish off their fall season. And just to quickly touch on the COD team, rough weekend. Not a lot of practice again. Only had a week to really prepare, and we got a new player the day before matches started. So that wasn't great. But we lost to Illinois White. I believe Illinois has 3 teams in the competition, so we lost to their White team. 3-1. I was in map 1 and I was lagging so much. We ended up losing it, but I had to sub myself out to get someone else in there because it was just completely unplayable. So that was super, super unfortunate. We were down 5-2 in map 2 search and destroy, but found a way to come back and win 6-5, which was really exciting to see. And the Control, which is the new 3rd game mode, we saw that 2 years ago in Black Ops 4. We're a terrible Control team. Put that out there for everybody. Not good. So we got 3-0 to 3-1 on that, and then lost a hard point by like 22. So rough Saturday, and Sunday we just got absolutely smoked by Kennesaw State. Wasn't a good weekend, but we'll look to bounce back. We're going to practice pretty much every night, starting tonight, Monday.
Hopefully this week for St. Clair Esports is a lot better compared to last week. We didn't do that
Yeah.
bad, but we just want to bounce back in a way.
It wasn't the best week for sure. I think for even the clubs or varsity teams, but definitely look to bounce back. Is our record's still like amazing overall.
Our win-loss,
Hopefully that'll be good. And Luke, you want to mention our giveaway deal for the YouTube?
Yeah. So in the week that the St. Clair Saints go undefeated through all their games, we will be giving away a $25 Steam card to someone who leaves a comment and is following the Saints Gaming on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. We'll start it
And
today. Today is Monday, because Rocket League did lose yesterday, so we're gonna start it today.
Yes, I like that.
So, and that Twitter handle is Saints Gaming CA.
Follow it up.
Pretty simple, yeah.
Leave a comment.
Any comment you leave, like criticism, suggestions, questions, we'll do our best to answer, adjust,
topics.
Yeah.
Tell us who has the most hair.
Yeah, who's the best looking. We know it's me, but some people have their own opinions. But that's pretty much gonna do it for us. And you know what? Just going back to the giveaway really quickly, like this is your best chance to win this Steam card now more than ever, because we have a few teams that are in the off season currently.
Less games.
Yes,
less risk of losing.
Exactly. So
I'll tell the league team we're better win for this giveaway.
Got to, and I'll punch everybody on the COD team if they lose even one map next week. So
good.
We'll get we'll try and have our first perfect week of the year coming up soon. But I think that's going to do it for us here at the Bird's Eye View podcast, the season 2 gang, back at it, episode 6. We hope you all enjoyed. Again, leave a comment, criticism, suggestions, questions, whatever you'd like. On behalf of the 3 of us, thank you all for watching, and we will catch you next week.
Peace
Take
out.
care.